Hello, welcome to this lesson 4 for reading Tibetan. My name is Adelaide. I've been teaching Tibetan for quite a few years and I've myself studied Tibetan in India, and I stayed living in Tibetan communities in India for more than 13 years, speaking only in Tibetan and studying classical, traditional Buddhist philosophy. Okay, so in lesson 4, we are going to see quite a few new letters. Don't worry, at first glance, it's not that many. The letters that we've seen in the previous lessons are all written here. So in the first lesson, we saw so, ri, me, pu. The first 4 letters. And then we saw in the second lesson ka, ta, a. And in the previous lesson, we saw ka, ta, pa, ya, ma. And in this lesson, we are going to see the last line, the last 6 letters on this slide. So once again, remember what I said last time? We had letters that looked alike because their consonant was shared. It's a bit the same thing that's happening here. You notice that the first letter here at the bottom, on the first letter in the last line, looks like the ka we saw before or the ga we saw before, and that's because the consonant is quite the same. Except here the tone is aspirated and a high. So ka. So if we do the comparison, the blue one is ga, the yellow one was ka, and this green one is ka. Or in order, ka, ka, ka. So ka, can imagine it with an H. And then the same thing for the second letter here on this last line. It's a high and aspirated letter, and it's ta, ta. The third letter looks like the pa we saw in the last lesson, except now it's aspirated. So pa, pa. And then we've got a high and short letter, sha, and 2 low and short letters, na, la. So I read the last line once again. Ka, ta, pa, sha, na, la. So if we place them in this circle that we've used in the previous lesson, that's where they are. So now we've got examples of all the different kinds of letters. You can take your time if you want and pause the video. So we've got 3 more of these rata, and don't worry because the first one, marata, ma, doesn't do anything to the ma. Marata ma. The second one, sarata sa, doesn't do anything to the sa. It's just for spelling purposes usually. The last one though has a slight intelligible reasoning behind it, so you can remember it easily. Haratara. It's like adding a r to the ha sound of this letter. I know we haven't seen that letter, but it's like ha, ha, aspirated high, so ha, and then haratara with a r sound. You don't need to learn it, so don't mind. Yeah, you can if you want, of course, but it's not extremely common, I have to say. So now we've learned the ratas. You know how, when you see them, you know how to recognize them. Tibetans, often in traditional in a traditional context, I will tell, oh yeah, how many ratas are there? And recite them. And if you're not able to do that, but still able to read them, what else do you want? I mean, we're learning how to read. So, there is no need to try to remember which letter has a rata or not. What you need to know is how to read them when you see them. Let's go move on to this slide. So, a little bit of spelling here. So when you have a prefix, you have to add o to signify it's a prefix after that prefix. So here, the way to spell that syllable is going to be bao karata cha. Bao karata cha. So you're able to read that syllable now, which is great. We are approaching, I mean, that's the last hardship for learning how to read in Tibetan. It's ratas and yatas. So, at the end of this lesson, you'll be good. Just a few more letters to learn, and then you can read everything in Tibetan. Not everything in Sanskrit, though, because sometimes you have transcriptions from Sanskrit to Tibetan letters, and the rules are slightly different. But you don't really need formal education to learn how to read them. One good way, if you want to read mantras, is to find the mantra in English, which is available nowadays, and try to see how the letters function, the Tibetan letters function with that pronunciation in English. Okay, so I promised you today we had the yata and the ratas, so here are the yata. Yata a bit more different, they have less patterns than the ratas, but they're quite easy too, actually. Hopefully you find them easy. So what they do, these half letters, it's supposed to be a letter ya, like the ratas, it's supposed to be a letter ra, but yeah, it's a half. It's I don't know, badly made ra and a badly made ya. So when you have this half ya below, it adds a y sound. So when you have ka with a yata, it becomes kayata kya. So one way, again, to learn them is to recite them like a song. Kayata kya, kayata kya, gayata kya, bayata cha, payata cha, bayata ja, mayata nya. So these are the whole combinations here. I'll go a bit more slowly now. Okay, so the first line is kayata kya. The second letter is pronounced kayata kya. The third one, kayata kya. The fourth one, payata cha. So somehow I think the old pronunciation might have been payata pya, but it became, and now it's cha. And it's exactly the same as the letter cha we've seen. And then we have payata cha. Again, it's the same as the letter cha. And payata ja, same as the letter ja. And then somehow mayata is nya. Mayata nya. Maybe it was mya and it became nya. I don't know. But nevertheless, it's nya. So exactly the same pronunciation as that letter. So, yeah, this looks a bit complicated. Let me explain. Make it easier. I put numbers where with the order of which you have to spell this combination. So number 1 for ka, because that's where you start. So ka, and then you do the yata, which is below, you see it. So ka, ya, and then number 3 for the plus is this ta. So ka, ya, ta, kya. That's number 4. Then you add the vowel symbol, jambu. And then you read that combination, kye. You add the suffix in 7, ta. And then finally you read the end syllable, kye. So without interruption, it becomes kaya ta kya jambu kye ta kye. So you should try to do the next one. Nevertheless, you can pause the video. I have put the way to read that spelling below. So it's ao gara ta ja naro dro. Ao gara ta ja naro dro. Sorry. So that syllable is dro. Same with the one on the right. You should pause, try to read it, see if you're correct. It's parada cha shabkyu tru ka truk. So the answer is truk. Okay, a few new words, very important words for conversation or reading. So the first one, you. You in Tibetan. Can you read that? Kerang. Kerang. Kerang means you. The second word, easy, right? Only one letter. Nga. Nga is I. The third word, kung. Kung is he or she. It's quite polite, used for both genders. Okay, now you've seen 3 personal pronouns, we can go on to some nouns. The first one, try to read it, or spell it, or both. Chom. If you want to spell it, it's karatachanaro choma chom. That's a market. Chom. The second word here for teacher is, try, gegen, 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 teacher. By the way, ge means virtue and gen means elder. So it's an elder in virtue. And then you have the third word, student. Try, lop, chuk, lop chuk. Lop, by the way, is to study, the verb to study, and chuk means child. So it's a child of study. Regardless of your age, you can be a student without being a child, but you're still a child of study. So many Tibetan words, nouns especially, are formed like that. You take 2 different syllables from 2 different words and you combine them to make a new one. So it's quite important to know your syllables, to learn more and more. It helps you enrich your vocabulary, and it helps you also once you know 2 syllables but you don't know the word exactly, you can kind of figure it out based upon the syllables. Okay, so that's a sentence that we've seen in the last lesson. Ti tepre. Ti tepre. This is a book. So instead of using this and that, as we've done so far, we can have a subject that is a pronoun, a personal pronoun, like 콩 개겐레. 콩 개겐레. He or she is a teacher. Or nga lobchu yin. Nga lobchu yin. Nga lobchu yin. I am a student. Can you guess the next sentence? We've seen this word. The word for door was go. So tegore. Tegore means that is a door. Can you guess these? So we've got pagi. We haven't seen this word. Nevertheless, it shouldn't bother you in the sentence. Try to guess what this could mean. So at the end you have the verb, it is, and this is a mountain, so it is a mountain, blah, 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 blah. We don't know what pagi is, right? But how do you finish that sentence? Anyway, well, the answer is pagi rire. Pagi rire. Pagi means over there. So over there is a mountain. What about the next sentence? I, student, am. How do you say I am a student? Nga lobchu yin. Nga lobchu yin. Hey, let's have a short dialogue. That's the kind of dialogue that you'll encounter every day speaking with Tibetans. So you've got two people. The first one says, try to read it, pause the video, go on. Okay, so he says, Tashi dele. You might have heard that expression. Tashi dele is used especially by Tibetans in exile. It's a way of greeting. Its history comes from after 1959, when the Tibetans, I think there was a Tibetan lady who was a teacher at an English school, and she was always asked by foreigners how to say hi in Tibetan, and there was no answer. So she decided that the traditional greeting for New Year will do, and she decided using the Chashidile was it, because that's the greeting. It's a greeting usually used for New Year, and it spread from there. Many Tibetans use it. It spread a little bit in Tibet, but sometimes it's quite uncommon for some people to use it. You have to be careful with it, though, because sorry, because if something tragic has happened, you cannot use it, because basically what it means is everything be auspicious. So let's say if your brother has died and someone comes to you and say, oh, it's auspicious, you won't be very happy, will you? That's one reason that maybe some people don't use it. But if everything is in the clear, you can use it. Tashidele. So to that greeting, the lady answers, Tashidele. That's how you answer it. And then, do you want to try to read what he says? Kerang tebo yinpe. Kerang tebo yinpe. You happy? Are you? It's one way to say how are you. Kerang tebo yinpe. How are you? To which she says, Nga te boyi. Nga te boyi. I'm good. I'm happy. Nga te boyi. And then he says, where are you going? This is a very common question. Traditionally, some people will even say that before they greet you. And that's one way of greeting people, asking them where they're going. So the question in Tibetan is kawar jogin, kawar jogin, kawar jogin. It's often shortened to kawar jogi or kawar. Only to good friends though. Kawar jogin, how are you? Where are you going? Sorry. So kawar means where. Jo is a verb to go. Gin, combined like this, is a future tense. Where will you go? But future, it doesn't really mean to be far in the future. The answer to that is Chomla jogin. Chomla jogin. Chomla jogin. I am going to the market. So chom is market. La stands for to, in, at, etc. So I'm going to, this is to in this case. And jo, go, gin, future. I'm going to the market. So let's try. Do you remember what people said? First the guy said, Tashidele. To which the lady answered, can you guess? Remember? Tashidele. The guy then asked, Keran debo himbe. That was, how are you? To which she said, I'm fine. How do you say that? Ma debo yi. The question next was asked, where are you going? Kabar jogi. To which the answer was, I'm going to the market. So market, to, go, will. Chomla jogin. Chomla jogin. Well, let's repeat some spelling. So how will you spell the first syllable? Ratatata. The one below that? Sakataka. Ratata. That's a long combination, isn't it? Sakataka. Ratata. I hope that was clear. And the one on the right. Sakataka. Kar. Sakataka rakar. Garata drana ro jogasa jo. Garata drana ro jogasa jo. Bharata dragi guji. Bharata dragi guji. Kayata kyajambo kedake. Kayata kyajambo kedake. Let's revise some vocabulary. Do you remember these words we saw today? They're important. First one, teacher. Teacher was Gegen. Remember? Virtue, elder. Elder in virtue. Student was Lopchuk, a child of learning. You was Kerang. and mark it. Chom. So, which one is correct? Pagi chom re. Is it the first picture or the second picture? Pagi chom re. I'm not telling you. What about the next sentence? Mo lob chure. Mo lob chure. Good luck. What about these three? Timare. Second one. Te karmare. Third one. Te mere. Which one is which? And the last page for this. Nga tebui. Second one. Nga lobchui. Last one. Nga gegain. I hope it wasn't too hard. If it was a bit too hard, do these exercises again. Here is the calligraphy for the letters we've seen today, taken from Tibetan Calligraphy by Sanjay Elliott. It's an amazing book. I highly recommend it. It's got some very good example of calligraphy and very good explanations how to write each letter perfectly. So I hope you are having a good day. Hope to see you soon. See you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe.